in the Know for Friday, February 10, the 41st day of 2023. There are 324 days left in the year. Good morning, MB. Guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth country, and get you ready for Super Bowl 57 weekend. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
You like to wear boots, and you know that I'm a fan of boots. Mm-hmm. And you sometimes have a phrase that says sometimes you just have to put your boots on. Right?
The phrase is sometimes you put your big girl boots on and do it.
That's right. Or boots that make you feel good, or they give you confidence. Right. Well, would you like to have a set of these? These are called Big Red Boots, and they kind of make you look like a cartoon character. They're $350. They do look like if you had like an action hero, or you had like Woody and Toy Story boots. They don't look like those kind of boots, but they're made out of that similar like plastic thing. Would you like?
How heavy are those?
That's a good question. I'd like to know what they weigh as well. They are polyurethane rubber and vinyl acetate, and they're kind of called cartoon boots for the cool 3D world. I think they're pretty light. I think they're light enough to walk around. They make your feet awfully big.
I actually would like those for one particular reason. I mean, they're too expensive, but when I do Read Across America,
oh yeah.
So I always read the book that is required, but then I follow up with Dr. Seuss, right?
Yep.
So I could have an outfit with those boots.
Those boots look like a lot of fun. I don't think they're good everyday boots, but I think they're good special occasion boots, I would guess. He is a 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's a 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the Sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. Do you need anything at the Black Cat?
Oh no, I'm good. Just wave at him with your whole hand. Okay. And just tell him hey. And I haven't been down to see him in a while. Been a long time. Been more than 2 decades, I suppose, since I've even been by there.
We'll drive right past.
Yeah, don't slow down. Just keep regular speed.
I'll have a cook boy in the car, so I got to keep on going.
Oh, well, that's true. Although you have some of those cook boys are good for personal protection.
Yeah,
if you need a body man, you're in good shape.
One Alex Cook.
So the crew's got to go to Whitesville tonight, and the Black Cat historically was, it was a honky tonk down along the Ohio County Davis County line. So in the old days, if you needed a cold drink and you needed to make a run for the border, a lot of people would go to the Black Cat, which was just on Highway 54 into Davis County.
I forget what it's called now.
So you could buy adult beverages.
Yes, because Davis County was wet.
Gotcha.
And so in various directions. So there was a kind of a notorious location, and it was not for the faint of heart, my understanding, or at least legend had it. It was not a place that necessarily you wanted to get
be at after 8 o'clock?
Yeah, maybe after 8 o'clock. You probably didn't want to go in there wearing certain colors like, melon or pink, or if you were a man, like you'd probably want to go in wearing, you probably want to have your wallet on a chain. You probably want to have.
Not know about this?
We've talked about it on the show.
Comes
before.
up from time to time on the show about.
Anytime we go to Whitesville.
About any time we got to go buy it. But
you're talking about sports, so I usually tune that part
You'll
out.
look in and report back on what its current name is.
Yes, I'll put that'll be Alex Cook's job.
Okay, well, I dare you all to walk in there and ask for Peeps flavored Pepsi. It's back on the market after a hiatus in 2022.
I was at the store yesterday and walked past it.
You did?
And it was on the shelf.
So it's available.
And okay. If it would have been a bottle, Because they also had a bottle of the strawberry and cream Dr. Pepper.
Oh,
so myself
right.
being the Dr. Pepper aficionado, I grabbed one of those. So it's in the fridge that I'll have to report back
you're
on
gonna
trying.
test. Well,
but if this was in a bottle, I would have at least grabbed one just because I'm curious.
come Tuesday, the only thing separating us from Easter is St. Patrick's Day.
March Madness.
Come Wednesday, the only thing from separating us from the Easter celebration will be that momentary moment where we wear green on March the 17th. But then as you lead into the Easter season, Pepsi Peeps is available in stores or I guess that's Peeps Pepsi, not is it, I don't know.
Yeah,
You call it whatever you want to call it. And I'll just stay out of
Liquid
your,
Peeps.
I'll just stay out of your way. Quiet weather will last throughout the weekend. We're going to get will be a high in the mid to upper 40s today and tomorrow, and then the temperature will warm up a little bit on Sunday afternoon. We're going to see highs of 55 Sunday afternoon, then step on up on Monday at 57. Valentine's Day looks like double nickels at 55. 69 on Wednesday. This time yesterday, that was a 65. Now it's back to 69 on Wednesday, 67 on Thursday. But between now and then, mostly cloudy, 46 today. Not much chance for precipitation today, even though it looks like it at the moment. It looks like it could rain, but only a 10% chance of rain today. Decreasing clouds, a low of 26 overnight, so back below freezing overnight. And then sunny and a high of 48 for tomorrow. I read this morning that Google and YouTube have announced this week that they are taking steps to protect users from explicit content. Google will automatically blur sexually explicit images in search results regardless of security settings. They made that announcement on February 7th in one of the latest moves among the tech giants to limit unintentional pornographic viewing online. It's a problem. We run into it with our YouTube content. We see people posting in comments links to sites that we would never encourage our audience to go to, and it's usually got some type of salacious or at least titillating type of language in there saying, see this here or do that. And so it's good to know that I've been on Twitter before and seen things that go, well, why are you, how is that landing in my feed? I don't like content like that. I don't follow content like that, but that's some of where the bots were taking over on Twitter. And I liked the construct on Twitter where I only saw the people that I had decided that I had liked, and you can filter it like that now, or more recently. But for up until Mr. Musk got involved, Twitter was really, for me at least, trending in a direction where I didn't have near as much control over the content that was landing on my screen.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and so
That's my biggest issue is I don't, when I go to my Twitter sphere, I don't want much politics.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, politics keep flittering in, and I hit that little button, no, I do not want to see your tweet. If I don't follow you, especially some major politicians and everything, it's like, I don't care what you're saying.
There was a stretch also for a few days, maybe a week or so, where those topics were landing there, like they're things that I might genuinely be interested in. It would just be like under the category of sports, but the content was certainly not sports.
Well, and it'll
I'd
even
be like, get rid of that.
It's even dropped on me. It's like, oh, you may like Kansas City Chiefs. I'm like, no.
Opposite.
Yes,
opposite
no.
Kansas
Just
City
because I
Chiefs.
tweeted about it doesn't mean that I like it.
All right. Some of the headlines closer to home. Litchfield couple has been arrested after law enforcement found a large amount of methamphetamine and 2 small children in their apartment. Happened Wednesday afternoon. The Greater Hardin County Narcotics Task Force and LPD executed a search warrant at Cave Mill Apartments on Sunrise Drive. Police located approximately 10 grams of meth, several baggies of marijuana, cash and drug paraphernalia. Child Protective Services were involved in regard to 2 small children also found in the apartment. 29-year-old Dustin Greer and 22-year-old Jasmine Decker were the adults on site, and they were arrested and lodged. A Kentucky prosecutor facing possible impeachment over allegations that he promised the defendant favors in court in exchange for images of her has submitted his resignation. Getting pressured by the legislature, they were going to remove him from the office one way or another, and so he saw the writing on the wall and went ahead and evacuated the area. So that has been seemingly resolved, at least as of for now. I also saw some additional detail this morning. Ken shared with me about the deputy jailer in Barron County from earlier this week that was fired for after the state police investigated and made claims that he had stolen money, and it was more than when the theft was that, they do that over or above, it's under 1,000 or over 1,000. It was more than 1,000. I'm like, how do you get more than $1,000 out of somebody who's in jail? Well, come to find out, as it appears through the investigation, they were booking someone. This person was being booked into the jail and had, I think, about $1,500 in cash in his wallet. And this guy was on camera swiping it. And when he was interviewed by the state police, he admitted to it and said he was going to use it to pay bills and buy a firearm. I think was my understanding. So additional detail that we didn't have a couple days ago.
We'll have more on that, I think, later on this evening.
Yeah, that's what he told me this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Maybe about 10 after 5.
Maybe you all know more. Maybe you all know more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But
we're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You all are kind of a big deal.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Well, I mean, I know you're kind of a big deal. I wouldn't dispute that, but it is also kind of funny, and people ask me things about certain news stories or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I just know.
I get the same thing sometimes.
I just read some of the same things you all do, and try and do the best I can with them. Governor Beshear gave a breakdown of the 10,000 checks in $1,000 increments that were issued in December to survivors of the West Kentucky tornadoes and others who say they were sent a check in error. That was at a conference yesterday. All check recipients were identified as tornado victims who made claims by private insurance companies or FEMA. The recipients were identified by FEMA and insurance companies as having been verified through their systems and having received payments through those entities. No checks were sent to anyone who was not on a FEMA or private insurance list. That's according to the governor. The Kentucky Public Protection Cabinet, which issued the checks for the fund, as well as the Kentucky State Treasurer's Office, began receiving calls shortly after from people across the state saying they were issued checks in error. The Allison Ball, the treasurer, subsequently canceled payment on 193 of the checks. Now, I don't know if that's all that they found to be fraudulent or if there's still some floating around out there. He gave a breakdown of who, where they went and if they were reissued. They found some, about 19, to be fraudulent. And so he's kind of defending what happened. And the legislature is trying to craft some legislation that at least better accounts for some of these relief funds and when they're run through the state, et cetera. So I don't know. The Republican lawmakers in Kentucky advanced a bill yesterday came out of committee to allow teachers to misgender their transgender students, plunging into a culture war issue despite pleas to resist doing so from a Senate colleague whose transgender son died recently. Sensitive issue all the way around, and something's not exactly right. Like there's so much confusion and a lack of clarity on these issues, and people are having a hard time navigating these waters on many, many different levels. And oftentimes, we said, I think something came up the other day about, by the time legislatures get involved, oftentimes it's really too late to offer a clear remedy because legislation is most of the time reactive and rarely proactive. And so there are some things happening across the landscape in Kentucky that are causing school leaders and administrations some confusion on how do we handle these types of things. But then what happens in the legislative body is that it does turn into this culture war and this ideological, and I don't know that it serves to solve any of the problems. It just creates, in a lot of ways, more hard feelings. And so it's not an issue that I'm an expert on and don't really feel comfortable talking about it. But if you're tracking what's happening in the legislature, They did move that forward out of committee. I'd rather spend my time talking about the virtue of great laws like the one being proposed where people can be fined for being fast lane campers on 4-lane highways. That's one I can get behind. That was filed this week, and I did a little applause. I did a little, all right, I like that idea. Get out of the left lane. It happened this morning. I was like, just sitting still. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, I got to tell you about this. What happened on this airplane? UK travels to Athens tomorrow.
Georgia. Yep.
Stegman Coliseum, I think, is where they play on the University of Georgia campus. Georgia's like 14-6. No, 10 and something, and Kentucky's like 14 and something. They should win, shouldn't they? But I mean, never a guarantee on the road.
Yeah, they should win, but I think, I mean, Kentucky's had some bad luck. I mean, and this is not the reason they've struggled this year, but they've had some weird injuries, injury luck this year. I mean, Cason Wallace misses the 1 game. Xavier Wheeler, I think, has missed 2 games. C.J. Frederick missed 2 or 3 games. It's been kind of like, it's not been knock on wood, not been consistent injuries, but it's just been kind of a lot of, I know Oscar missed the first 3 or 4 games with a knee injury and so on, so it's just been very inconsistent.
I think some of their problem against Arkansas the other night in the second half was fatigue because they didn't have Wheeler come in because of his injury, and because it was a close game in the first half, but then you could just tell that, as I heard someone else say, Arkansas just wanted it more. It was pretty obvious the other night. But if you don't win on the road tomorrow in Georgia, you are really starting to get the hammer and the nail out on the coffin for your season, because it's just not. If you lose tomorrow, then you're really looking at something like having to win the SEC tournament in order to get into the tournament you want to be in at the end of the year, instead of the one that you really don't want to be in. After you successfully navigate your journey through by the Black Cat this evening, but when you get to Whitesville, Sam, what are you expecting between this double header matchup between the Cougars, Lady Cougars, and Whitesville Trinity?
Yeah, it should be 2 good games. I mean, when they played back here in middle of January, they were both really good games. Lady Cougars and Cougars both won. But, I mean, the biggest thing and the biggest story that we're going to have to watch about tonight is you got district standing scenarios. So at the end of the evening, we could have the district tournaments pretty much finalized, or we could have mayhem. So, because there's Edmondson and Butler are playing in Morgantown tonight, so there's all of the different scenarios. I mean, the easiest ones for the girls is if Butler County beats Edmondson County and Grayson County beats Whitesville Trinity and girls. That's going to be straightforward. You don't need an abacus for that. It's Butler County is the 1, Edmondson 2, Grayson 3, Whitesville Trinity 4.
Okay.
Now, the rest of them is when you're going to get into some coin flips. Now, if you want pure mayhem for girls, you want Edmondson County and Whitesville Trinity to win tonight, because then that would be a coin flip for the 1 seed and a coin flip for the 3 seed. So that's when mayhem starts to get unleashed. And then the boys' game, the easiest scenarios are if Edmondson and Grayson wins, it'll be Edmondson is the 1, Whitesville Trinity is the 4, Butler 2, Grayson 3. And if Edmondson and Whitesville win, it'll be Edmondson is the 1, Grayson is the 4. Butler and Whitesville Trinity in that scenario would technically tie for second, but it would be a coin flip to see who wears the white jerseys and who wears the dark jerseys. Which
would the coin flip be sponsored by an insurance company, the one that likes the mayhem? They got a whole advertising campaign about mayhem.
It might be.
I would think they would sponsor that.
There's multiple, but there's all kinds of scenarios, and we'll go through more of them during the locker room show tonight.
Okay, very good. I want to tell you about a guy who recently was on an airplane, and they were going Pittsburgh to San Francisco, so long haul. And the guy was sitting on the aisle, and another guy comes along, bigger guy, wedges himself into the middle seat. And after he gets settled, the guy kicks off his shoes. And the guy who's sitting on the aisle realizes it's going to be a long flight to San Francisco, smelling the thumping feet. He said it wasn't the worst smell that he'd ever smelled, but it wasn't a pleasant smell. And he didn't really think about it's probably a 4 and a half, 5 hour flight cross country from Pennsylvania to San Francisco.
The pro for this guy, though, is he'd already had kind of the stench of Pittsburgh in his nose.
Yeah,
so
he was already a little nose blind. Maybe that's why he didn't think it was the worst smell he'd ever smelled because he was there. Well, so come to find out then, guy in the middle seat not long after takeoff falls asleep. So guy who's now being heralded as a hero on the aisle, he grabs one of his shoes
and puts it on
by the shoelace and gets up and goes to the lavatory in the back. And right before he gets to the lavatory, he pops open the overhead bin, puts the shoe in the overhead bin, latches it, and then doesn't say anything.
I love it.
Guy toward the end of the flight wakes up in a panic because he can't find his shoe. So he's like looking all around. He can't deplane. So this guy who was sitting on the aisle who hid the shoe on his way off the flight, he told the flight attendant, guy in 2C's looking for his shoe. That's all he said. And she smiled because she knew what had happened.
I love it.
He hung around by the gate. Okay, after all the passengers, this guy was the last one off the plane.
That's good enough for
And he
him.
said, yeah, serves him right. You causing up a big stink.
Yep.
You're going to have to, you inconvenience everybody else. We're going to inconvenience you just a little bit. So, well done. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way here on In the Know.
If you're a woman over 40, have you had your annual mammogram? Whether you're a mother, wife, sister, mentor, or friend, you're important to so many in your life. At Owensboro Health, we want to help you live a healthy life with the ones you love. Having an annual screening mammogram is one way to take good care of yourself, because you're worth it. Schedule your screening mammogram online at owensborohealth.org/mammogram.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start March 13th. Call 270-259-1540 or visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC. College for the real world.
If you're the average person, you only think about income taxes from January to April. But the choices you make 12 months a year have a big impact on your tax return preparation and even your refund. Making adjustments to your financial matters during tax filing season is like trying to lose weight during a routine doctor visit. The certified public accounting firm of Buckles, Travis & Hart work year-round to advise clients on important financial decisions so that during tax filing season, you're carrying a lot less stress and worry. Join the Peace of Mind team with Buckles, Travis & Hart, 270-259-5604. or GraysonCPAs.com.
Cougar Sports is officially underway, and T-Shirt Express, the bright pink building on the square, has you covered. Parents, students, and fans of Cougar Sports, choir, and band will find a variety of selections to cheer the Cougars on. T-Shirt Express also offers laser engraving, embroidery, memorial items, and they welcome all design ideas. T-Shirt Express, the bright pink building on the square for all of your Cougar and personalization needs.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer MFD.
Former President Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts are back. Meta, who owns both social media platforms, reinstated Trump's accounts. The company announced last month it would end his suspension. Yahoo is the latest company to announce mass layoffs. The tech giant is going to cut its workforce by 20% by the end of this year. That effort begins this week. SpaceX fired up almost all the engines in a test of its enormous Super Heavy rocket booster booster Thursday. The trial at the company's Starbase facility outside Brownsville, Texas, was the first so-called static fire test. A Spider-Man live-action series is in the works at Amazon Prime Video. Variety reports the untitled series will follow an older version of the superhero in the 1930s. The biggest surprise, the main character won't be Peter Parker. That's your tech report. Trey Thomas, NBC.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you are treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You're my gold.
Today is Flannel Day. Not the most romantic of clothing, of articles of clothing or fabrics. It's Plimsoll Day today. You all know Samuel Plimsoll. He was a member of the English Parliament who championed sailor safety. In fact, the safety line they have drawn on the side of ships where the hull is supposed to meet the water is called the Plimsoll line. Sometimes it's above water, showing that maybe it's a little too light, and if it's underwater, then you're floating a little bit too heavy. Tomorrow is Get Out Your Guitar Day. Sam, you got a guitar?
Nope.
Tomorrow is Shut-In Visitation Day. Sunday is Lincoln's birthday. Sunday is Paul Bunyan Day. Sunday is Super Chicken Wing Day. Seemed like to me they would combine Paul Bunyan Day and Flannel Day. They wouldn't put them 2 days apart. It would seem to me it would be much easier to co-locate those two together. But they didn't ask me. So until they do, I guess I'll just sort of stay out of it. What color is Chris Stapleton's hat going to be when he sings the national anthem on Sunday?
Black.
Okay, that's plus 350. Any other color is minus 600. Typically, he wears that beige color, that neutral color. But then we wondered,
will he break something new out?
Well, but not only that, doesn't he have to take his hat off? Servicemen and women in uniform, they don't remove their hat during the national anthem. You know, they're standing at attention and salute most of the time. But you're not supposed to be wearing your cowboy hat during the national anthem, I would think, especially if you're the one singing it.
I would think.
I don't know.
So these prop bets on the halftime show are kind of interesting, but Chris Stapleton's hat primary color, what if they throw everybody, what if there's no hat?
Well, it's still probably the hat that he walks up in.
Yeah.
Because if anything, he's going
to take it off and then put it down. Yeah. Throw it on the microphone stand while
or he'll just hold it.
Okay. All right. Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show odds. First song played, Don't Stop the Music, is at plus 150. Run This Town at plus 300.
That's a good guess.
Diamonds, shine bright like a diamond. It's not in there. It's not the lead. It's not the lead song.
Run This Town?
Diamonds.
Oh.
This Is What You Came For at plus 600. Hillary Clinton Better Have My Money at plus 800. Umbrella at plus 1,000. Stay at plus 1,100. We Found Love at plus 1,100. And Where Have You Been at plus 500.
Have there been any rumors? Because they always have it's always someone else that joins her on stage.
So Jay-Z is at minus 225.
I guess that makes sense.
So that would be a hard one. Because of Run This Town.
Yeah.
Calvin Harris, they're taking bets on Calvin Harris.
That's
Drake.
We Found Love. I think he's...
Kendrick Lamar, Eminem.
No, I wouldn't put money on that because he was just there last year.
Kanye is at plus 400. Paul McCartney is at plus 500.
Can I put money that it won't be Kanye?
Yeah, I was going to say, can you bet against that? You probably bet a lot. The over-under on the song totals is 8.5. And her hair color is getting a lot of action. Black, blonde, red, pink, purple, blue. Lots of options on Rihanna. It could be about any color that you want it to be. I can't believe she didn't even chuckle at Hillary Clinton Better Have My Money. Tell me what you want.
I don't get into her, and I'm not excited about the halftime show.
Yeah.
And
Well, you may be.
I'm not excited about any of it.
You may be
actually.
excited by the halftime guests because it might be Jay-Z. Who knows? But
Maybe.
maybe all right. Some other of the Super Bowl commercials: Doritos and Jack Harlow are teaming up. Jack Harlow didn't have a very good night at the Grammys, so maybe he'll have a better night on Super Bowl 57. Jennifer Coolidge is in a new Elf Cosmetics commercial. Did I say that right? ELF?
Sure.
Yeah.
Elf? Sam, you're an authority.
Sure. Sounds good to me. I can't be talking about that. I'm passing the black cat tonight.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You might want to talk in a little more manly voice too when you go down through there. Try to say things like Sam Elliott would say them. Over there is where they used to
Grow the
belly,
thick mustache.
Used to belly up to the bar over there
I've never wanted to go with you all
and
at all.
wet their whistles.
But like this one,
We
I
could-
would be intrigued.
Well, I told you what time we're leaving. If you want, we can drop you off. We'll drive right past it. 10 o'clock
And then
tonight.
pick me back up.
Yeah. So you
Pick
get
you back up.
you'll
Interesting.
get about 6 hours there. Probably.
That'll be my news story on Monday.
Please don't leave her there. Mets,
She'd be fine. You know?
Yeah, I would be fine, actually. Yeah, I blend in anywhere.
Oh, I mean, she can hold her own. I'm just saying she might get a better offer. I'm just trying to need her to make sure she comes home.
Oh, yeah, because that's what I'm into. Mhm.
Mets share a 30-second teaser of their $1 million Super Bowl commercial. How did they get one for $1 million when the going rate is $7?
I'm assuming it's a local.
Probably they're just trying to edge out the Yankees. Squarespace has a commercial starring dozens of Adam drivers. Okay.
All right, whatever.
I'm trying to be as blind to them as possible.
Snoop Dogg will wear Skechers to the Oval Office in a Super Bowl commercial. So Snoop, Skechers, and the Oval Office.
Okay.
John Travolta is going to sing his iconic Grease song in a T-Mobile spot. Tell me more, tell me more. None of those, do any of those sound intriguing?
Only Snoop.
Okay. And Sam's really trying to avoid them.
If there was a prop bet for which one she would have said is the one she's looking
Right,
forward
I
to,
mean,
Snoop would have been impossible to win any money.
Minus 10
So
million.
I was asked the other day, one of my family members really wants to go see the White House. And I'm like, this is terrible, but I have zero interest whatsoever. I mean, I've seen the exterior, but as far as going in, no desire. Now, you take Snoop with Skechers. Okay.
and the Oval Office.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm in.
Patrick Mahomes is the betting favorite to be the Super Bowl MVP ahead of Jalen Hurts. I guess that makes sense. He's more experienced, but
Yeah, I mean it's typically the quarterback
yeah.
of the winning team, but you could also keep an eye on like AJ Brown or Devontae Smith or Miles Sanders from the Eagles.
We're okay with the location of the Super Bowl, right? I saw where, they grow that grass, the field slides out into the desert and catches the natural sun, and then come game time, they slide it in there. This is a good location for the Super Bowl. Someone went through and ranked 16 host cities, so 16 cities that have hosted the Super Bowl and ranked them from worst to first. These aren't the worst cities possible to have the Super Bowl. These are the ones that have had it and are worst to first. Indianapolis at 16.
See, that's surprising to me.
I don't like Indianapolis. I don't like it. I do like it maybe a little better than Minneapolis just because it's only half as far. Detroit at 14. New York City, East Rutherford, when they try to do that outside. It's just cold weather markets are just harder.
It's the only time they've ever done it in a cold weather outside game.
Yeah, that was at 13. Stanford, California is at 12. Jacksonville at 11. Dallas at 10. Santa Clara at 9. Atlanta at 8. Houston 7. Tampa 6. Phoenix 5. LA at 4. San Diego at 3. Miami at 2. New Orleans at 1.
See, I've heard that if we're being, and I know you can't ask Landon Young his actual opinion because he'll have to give the. But I've heard the Superdome, like it's kind of run down.
What's run down?
The Superdome.
Oh,
I've heard it's just old.
yes, without a doubt. But they're host
And there's
cities.
Yeah.
So that's what they want, the Big Easy. They want.
Yeah.
Because it's, what is that? I can't. I
has-
oftentimes have it memorized in French, the let the good times roll, the whatever that it is you say when you're there. But I can't remember
Born on the Bayou?
what the French phrase is now. I don't think it's
Well,
anything.
call
it's
Landon.
similar to that.
Now, has he taught you any recipes and all that?
No, did I mention that I saw
Yeah,
him 2
you
weeks
said.
ago?
That's why I was
Yeah,
asking. I
saw
didn't
him.
know if
Oh,
he
yeah, I
brought you
showed
some
him about his-
beignets or
No, he's
jambalaya.
No, he's busy being a new dad. He's trying
Oh, that
to
is-
focus on all that stuff. I don't mess with it. I wait till his third season or something like that. And I read a headline this morning. It's kind of a cautionary tale for everyone because it might amend your behavior. Most people are just now realizing that call operators can hear you on hold. So, you're on hold with customer service. It might be the bank. It might be the propane company. It might be the whatever it might be. And they say, I'm going to put you on hold. Sometimes they'll say, I'm going to put you on a soft hold. And really,
I've never heard soft hold.
you know how to soft and if they know it's going to be like, I've had AT&T before say, I'm working on something in the background. I'm going to put you on a soft hold. But if you need something in the meantime, just speak up. I'll be able to hear you. I'm like, okay, I go. And typically I'm working or doing whatever. That's when I make those calls or when I got things that I can do at my desk. So I'm not just sitting here waiting. Well, come to find out, many people don't realize they can hear what you're saying, so you might be busting out your favorite Snoop rhymes.
I really hope one company in particular has been listening when I've been on hold.
And then you might also think, everything you were saying while you thought you were on hold, they were hearing every word of it, just taking it all in. So just be aware. And even if you're hearing on hold music, that's no guarantee that they can't hear you. So just at least give that some consideration if you want. So, gonna get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer, MFD.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
There's always time for the drive-thru deal. Because no matter how fast you are at making breakfast, McDonald's is faster.
There's a deal for every busy morning at McDonald's. Now order any size McCafe iced coffee for only $2. Try flavors like French vanilla, sugar-free French vanilla, or caramel. Get your McDonald's fast when you order ahead on the app.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. McDonald's app download and registration required.
Here's a simple truth about higher education.
If pursuing your purpose, doing what you really care about matters.
If having a rewarding career matters.
If a better financial future for you and your family matters.
Then higher education matters. From 6-week certificates to 2- or 4-year degrees. There's an option for you. A brighter future is within your reach. Find out how at kyhigheredmatters.org. Brought to you by this station and the Kentucky Broadcasters Association.
Do you know what's below? If you're planning a digging project, you need to know what's below. To find out, visit Kentucky811.org at least 2 days before you dig. This free service will mark the underground utility lines, and you will know what's below. To prevent costly damages and for your safety, know what's below. Visit Kentucky811.org.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. We'll keep some clouds overhead throughout the day today as temperatures warm into the 40s. For tonight, down into the 20s across the region with a few clouds overhead. Much more sunshine for your Saturday with highs into the 40s. We'll jump into the 50s on Sunday. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you know there are no seagulls in Hawaii?
I don't think I knew that, but
I've never considered it, but now that I think about it,
Yeah,
I don't ever remember seeing one. Also, no snakes, which is one of the things that I like the most about it, is you're not going to run into any no-shoulders.
thank you, Mongoose.
Thank you, mongoose. And the mongoose are funny to see when you see them. Like sometimes they'll dart across the road, and mongoosen are funny looking.
Mongoosen.
I don't know how I say it, but thank you for that. The NFL Honors was last night. Sam, did you peek in on that?
Yeah, I watched most of it.
You did? So apparently DeMar Hamlin gave a very nice speech at this event.
He did.
Did you see that?
He did.
Were you moved?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a good speech. I mean, he was surrounded by the Bengals training staff, the Bills training staff, and all of the doctors that cared for him at UC Medical Center, which was pretty powerful. And it was good to, I think the best part about it was that we can stop with the conspiracy theorists about him, so that we can actually look, that man is alive. He is,
Was he full voiced, or could you tell he was still? So
I mean, all things considered, he seemed fairly normal.
All right, I saw,
and I don't know what his mannerisms were beforehand.
Right. Well, one of the reasons that I think a lot of people were talking about keeping him under wraps was because he probably was. You spend that much time intubated, a while before your vocal cords get settled back and all that.
And it's been, I guess, about 6 weeks, so it's...
Yeah, it has been. I'm sure he's on his road to recovery. The other thing was, too, is that he was in a very unique position. He wasn't one of the wealthier players in the league, but he had an opportunity to be a spokesperson and carry a message. And if you just start going out there and talking in news conferences, then you start to lose some of that value. So, I mean, there's many different reasons for them doing that. There'll be a story about this, or like a movie or something at some point in time. Without a doubt. I saw where Mahomes got MVP. Walter Payton Man of the Year is Dak Prescott. Are there any Bengals who were recognized in any of the honors that you saw last night?
Yeah, Joe Burrow was FedEx Air Player of the Year. They won the Celebration of the Year, the Bengals. And and then the most important thing is that Ken Riley finally was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So the Bengals get their second player into the Hall of Fame. It's a crime that it's taken him this long, and he passed 2.5 years ago. So it's sad that he can't get his moment.
Was it that celebration, by the way, that I told you I was admired? Was it? Were they doing the roller coaster thing?
Yes.
That's
the one that they won.
That's funny.
As best celebration.
Matthew McConaughey has announced his first children's book called Just Because. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to say the last page of the book, like when it gets to the end, where you normally, when you're kids, you get to the last page and you go, the end. I think when you turn the page, you go, all right. Apparently, Britney Spears is in bad shape. She has been struggling, since her conservatorship ended. It's been a roller coaster ride with her, and mental health, substance abuse, and both problems are now dire enough that the people closest to her had planned an intervention. And they are afraid that she's not going to survive. And so, but something happened suddenly, and those plans changed last minute. So, very much hate to hear that. But she's had a very dynamic life, to say the least. Bryan Cranston says that he'd love to play Willie Nelson in a biopic. Can Bryan Cranston play Willie Nelson?
He's played a lot of different roles.
Me certainly has. I have no reason to
Seinfeld,
think that. Have no reason.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, he played
Breaking Bad.
Dr. Tim Watley. I mean, hey, you're gonna get you. He was convincing to me. I'd let him work on my teeth.
Hopefully, you've heard the story of him telling when he takes a hit of the laughing gas.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that was not his idea. That was an idea from one of the crew members on the set.
That's right,
the electrician.
And then also, we learned just before the show yesterday, but I never got around to mentioning, Burt Bacharach, the legendary songwriter, has gone on in at 94. He was in, 50s, 60s, 70s, wrote a string of hits for Dionne Warwick. What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love, wrote Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. But he was in Austin Powers movies, like in 2 of the Austin Powers movies. So Burt Bacharach, one of the most prolific songwriters of the time, going on in at age 94. Going to get to a break. Come back and we'll wrap it up for the week here on In the Know.
Guys, we're supposed to be manly, right? Well, when it comes to being a good father and husband, what exactly does manliness look like? Well, brute power and strength pop into mind, but what about sacrifice? Hi, this is Jim Daly with Focus on the Family. Sacrifice is considered a weakness by a lot of guys. That's too bad, because when you look at healthy families, you generally see a common trait: sacrificial men. These are the guys who go to their daughter's soccer game even if they'd rather stay at home and watch football. They're patient with their sons when a bike gets left out in the rain for the umpteenth time. Men who sacrifice develop stronger, more loving family relationships. It's a paradox, really, because we're at our strongest when we lay down our lives, even in small ways, for our wives and children. It can be hard to do, and we don't always do it well. But that's why it's called sacrifice. As fathers, we have to challenge ourselves to sacrifice for our families. We should not only tell them we love them, but show them that they're the most important people in the world to us. It could be leaving work early for a special dinner with our wives, or maybe it's staying patient and lovingly correcting our children when they're careless and scratch the car. Yeah, it's happened to me. Sacrifice will lead you to make radical choices. But then, being a dad is a pretty radical experience, isn't it? For help with your fathering, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Hello?
Hey, stranger.
Oh, hi. Thank goodness it's you. I was afraid to answer the phone.
Why? What's up?
The credit card companies are after me. They want me to make payments and the calls never stop.
Ouch. Been there before, but I got help from Trinity Debt Management.
Trinity?
Yeah, I called and right away Trinity contacted my creditors and got my interest rates cut in half. They ended all the late fees and over-limit charges, and they stopped those annoying phone calls.
Bet that was a relief.
Yep. Then they put me on a plan that consolidated my bills into one easy monthly payment. That way, I paid off my debt fast while saving thousands.
Nice.
Trinity even showed me how to plan and meet a monthly budget. So now I'm debt-free for keeps.
Wow. Do you still have their number?
Sure. Here, write this down and call 1-800-990-6976.
Can you repeat that?
1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer MFD.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
2, 3, 4. Well, lately things have been a little complicated. While the tea life has got me down. Well, sex is cheap and talk is overrated.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. What word is a lot of fun to say?
Onomatopoeia.
Oh, listen. Alea pulled that one out of her hat coming home the other day.
She did. Good for her. I would have been so proud to hear that because
she did.
that's the second one I got to.
Okay.
So did she learn what it means?
Yes, she knows.
Because isn't it like bam, like the sound effect words?
Word that makes spelled like the sound that it makes. I really, really thought, Sam, I didn't think onomatopoeia would be the first one you would say.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
See, that one came to mind.
I thought you would say Francisco.
Oh, well, that's a name.
Yeah, but that's fun to say. Francisco, that's fun to say.
Yeah, onomatopoeia, though, that's a good one.
Well,
see, and then you got the combination, like right now it's talking about names is we got to work on the boys because the boys basketball team has two basketball players. You got Jack Logston and Spencer Langdon. So you got Langdon and Logston on the floor at the same time, and my brain just can't. So that's.
But then you also have to throw Blanton in there,
Blanton,
which is not that much
Langdon,
difference.
Yeah, it's
so sometimes I think you can easily blur Langdon and Blanton, and you might get Blangton. That would be hard.
I don't know what the most fun word. What he said came to mind first.
Onomatopoeia?
No.
Supercala. As you all know, before the morning is over, I may say a word just to be able to say it, because those words are.
Well, you do that a lot with Gone But Not Forgotten.
That's exactly right. I do it just because, like a name of someone, Boutros Ghali is a fun name to be able to say. On television tonight, SWAT is on the old TV. Chris Angel's Magic with the Stars, season 1 finale. Kind of saddened I've missed the whole season.
What's that even on?
It's the CW. I figured that's what your default boot up station was.
I don't even know that my Hulu TV gets that.
On Sunday, Super Bowl 57. Chiefs at Eagles. Chiefs at Eagles. And then the Puppy Bowl 19 is on TBS and Discovery. And then for those of you that watch The Last of Us, that's on HBO on Sunday. But I think it's on HBO Max today.
Wonder, does it say what Fox's... Because they always try to put something big right after the game. Does it say on there what it is?
It does not say.
Because they usually try to debut some new show or...
but does Fox have any new shows like that?
You would be the one to know.
And their news is also so early. So for the Super Bowl to start at the time that it does... It almost seems like most Fox affiliates do their local news.
It'll be over here about 9 p.m. local time, give or take.
Which I think is the time the news runs.
Yeah, between 9 and 9:30, yeah.
Because they like to get to their news first or whatever before all of us old people go to sleep. Today's highlight in history. This day, 1962, the Soviet Union captured American U-2 pilot Francis Gary Powers for Rudolph Abel, a Soviet spy held by the United States. Have you seen the movie Bridge of Spies?
Did you say a YouTube?
U-2?
Oh.
The U-2 spy plane?
I was a little confused there as to why it was a YouTube pilot.
No, not in 1962.
Now you know as to why I was...
So you've not ever seen the movie Bridge of Spies?
No.
It's a really good movie. It's a Tom Hanks movie.
Well,
it's all about the exchange. In 1967, the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution dealing with presidential disability and succession was ratified as Minnesota and Nevada adopted it. In 1996, world chess champion Garry Kasparov lost the first game of a match in Philadelphia against an IBM computer dubbed Deep Blue. Kasparov ended up winning the match, though, 4-2. Birthdays today. Robert Wagner is 93. So he was involved in that disappearance of Natalie Wood off the coast of California. He also played Jonathan Hart on Heart to Heart, but he most recently starred as Anthony Donoso Sr. on NCIS.
I love him.
It's hard to believe he's 93. I mean,
Yeah.
Donoso's been off that show for, I don't know, I guess probably 4 seasons now, but that meant Robert Wagner was in his late 80s at that time and still looking good, doing and still working. Roberta Flack is 86 today. Disney CEO Robert Iger is 72. George Stephanopoulos is 62.
There you go.
Probably. Oh,
that's a good. Well, we're talking about names that are fun to say.
Sure, and then that's just one step away from Snuffleupagus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, that's a fun word to say.
Winnie the Pooh, right?
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
Laura
You're
Dern.
thinking of Heffalump.
Heffalump. Laura Dern is 56 today. Darn it. Jimmy Durante, Gone But Not Forgotten, 1893. Who else is Gone But Not Forgotten? That's the only people on my Gone But Not Forgotten list.
There's got to be someone else.
Well, let's see. I mean,
Who's that number 2 up there? It looks like a fun name to say.
William Allen White.
Oh,
that's easy to say.
I just saw 3 names and Charles Lamb. Is that what it says there
Not
at the first?
Boutros Ghali. Yeah, Charles Lamb, who was a writer.
Oh.
You don't know anything that he wrote. Anyway, I do have a spot of bad news. My chart topper just busted.
It's broken.
So I'm not going to be able to chart top you today. Teresa Brewer was number 1 in 53 with Till I Waltz Again With You. Pretty torn up that you missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Duke of Earl by Gene Chandler, number one at 62. Duke of Earl.
Okay.
Duke of Earl. Duke of Earl.
Don't you have that on hotkey?
Knocked 3 times by Tony Orlando and Dawn, 1971. Twice on the Pipes, if you ain't it's going to show.
I do like that song.
Oh, my darling. One Bad Apple was also number 1 that date in 71. Lynn Anderson, Rose Garden was number 1 in 71. Dolly Parton, Joshua, number 1 in 71 as well. I am kind of torn up that we're missing Michael Jackson's Rock With You today. It was number 1 in 80. In 1989, Born to Be My Baby by Bon Jovi was number 1. Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, number 1 in 1998. Now, keep this in mind that there's 2 new movies coming out at the box office this week, but the big thing at the box office this week is Titanic returns for its anniversary run. There is some speculation that Titanic may do well enough this weekend that it could surge back ahead of Avatar.
Oh, wow.
For biggest movie.
I mean, Avatar's also been out for 6 weeks.
Yes, but no, I think original Avatar.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think there's some.
I thought you meant like out of, yeah.
Yeah, original Avatar is 1 in gross box office billing all time, and Titanic is 2. And they're thinking Titanic may surge back ahead, and but it's really James Cameron versus James Cameron in that regard. He doesn't mind. He's got both those movies are his. Irreplaceable, Beyonce in 2007, and Adele, Hello, was number 1 7 years ago today. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says that tension is who you think you should be, relaxation is who you are. Tension is who you think you should be. Relaxation is who you are. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's